Once upon a time, hidden deep in the shadow of the Black Mountains, there was a village that didn't appear on any map. People whisper its name with fear, the Dark Village. For years, it remained untouched by outsiders. No one entered. No one ever returned. One foggy evening, a young journalist named Emily Carter received an anonymous letter. It simply read, "Find the truth behind the silence of the Dark Village. What sleeps in the shadows must be awakened." Driven by curiosity and a thirst for a good story, Emily packed her bags and journeyed toward the mountains, ignoring every warning along the way. When she arrived, the village looked abandoned. Broken houses, rusted gates, silent wind. But something felt alive. As night fell, strange whispers echoed through the trees. The air turned cold. Shadows moved, even when nothing was there. Inside one of the old cottages, Emily found a diary belonging to a girl named Lila, dated over 50 years ago. The final page read, "We made a deal. Now we must pay. The shadow comes at midnight." Suddenly, the door slammed shut. Emily turned. A shadowy figure stood behind her. Its eyes glowed red, and its voice was like the sound of 1,000 screams. "You were warned," it growled. "The village is cursed, and now so are you." Terrified but determined, Emily ran toward the church in the village center, the only place still standing strong. Inside, she discovered a hidden basement filled with old scrolls and symbols. The villagers, decades ago, had made a dark pact with a forest spirit in exchange for protection, but they broke their promise, and the spirit cursed them all, trapping their souls in shadows. Emily knew what she had to do. Using the clues in the scrolls, she performed an ancient ritual to break the curse. The winds roared, the earth shook, and suddenly, silence. The shadows vanished. The village, now bathed in golden sunlight, began to come alive again. Trees bloomed. Birds sang. The curse was finally broken. Emily returned home with her story. But even after publishing it, no one believed her. They thought it was just fiction. But Emily knew the truth. And so did the shadows, watching, waiting for someone else to forget the promise. Emily thought it was over. The village looked peaceful now. The sky above was clear, and the sun's rays kissed the old stone streets. The cursed shadows were gone, and the souls once trapped in darkness were free. But as Emily turned to leave, her camera, which had recorded everything, began to glitch. She looked at the screen. A face appeared, Lila's, but twisted, eyes hollow, mouth sewn shut. And then a voice whispered from the wind, "You broke the curse, but not the chain." Emily's heart pounded. Back in her apartment in the city, she couldn't sleep. Every night, she heard whispers. Every mirror showed more than just a reflection. The darkness wasn't gone. It followed her. One evening, she met a mysterious old man in a bookstore. He handed her a torn page from a book titled The 7 Seals of Shadow. He said, "You freed the village, but unleashed something far older, far darker. The curse was only 1 seal. There are 6 more." Emily's nightmare had only begun. To protect the world, she had to travel, not just back to the Dark Village, but to 6 ancient places, each hiding a seal of darkness, created by the ancient shadow spirit known as Noctarion. Her next destination, the Forest of Silent Screams in Romania, a place where no birds sing, and trees seem to whisper warnings. She arrived by train, guided by an old map. Deep in the forest, she found symbols carved into stone and trees that bled when touched. A voice spoke from the shadows. Turn back, seeker, or join the ones who never returned. But Emily pressed on. There she found the 2nd seal, a black stone covered in ancient runes. As she touched it, a creature of pure shadow rose from the earth, tall, faceless, and fast. A terrifying chase began. She ran through the twisting trees, every turn leading her deeper into the nightmare. Just when it seemed like the end, Lila's ghost appeared again, no longer twisted, and guided her to an altar hidden beneath a giant oak. With Lila's help, Emily spoke the ancient words to destroy the seal. A burst of light. The forest sighed. Silence returned. But the damage was done. Noctarion had awoken. Now, Emily has a new mission. break all 7 seals, or the King of Shadows will return, and this time, not just one village, but the entire world will drown in eternal night. Emily stood under the ancient oak, breathless. The second seal had shattered into black dust. Lila's ghost had vanished, her final words echoing in Emily's ears. He knows you now. He's coming. Suddenly, the wind died. The forest became unnaturally still, like the world was holding its breath. Then, a deafening crack split the sky. Lightning, black as ink, struck a distant mountain. That was a sign. The next clue led Emily to the North Sea, near the coast of Norway. Beneath the waves, hidden by time, lay the sunken city of Eldvar, built by an ancient civilization that once worshipped light, until they were consumed by shadow. To get there, Emily joined a team of deep-sea divers. But she didn't tell them the full truth, that something evil was waiting down there. As they descended into the freezing depths, the sea grew darker until they saw it. A city of stone towers, glowing faintly with ghostly light, covered in algae and silence. Inside the temple ruins, Emily found the third seal, a glowing orb held by a skeletal priest. As she reached out, something moved in the dark waters behind them. Something massive. The sea creature had no face, just dozens of glowing red eyes and a roar that made the ocean tremble. The divers tried to flee. One by one, they vanished into the dark. Emily held the orb, whispering the ritual words she had learned. The water began to shake. The creature let out a final, furious cry before vanishing in a blast of blue light. The third seal was broken. But now, Noctarion's presence was growing stronger. Every time Emily broke a seal, she weakened the Shadow King's prison, but also fed his fury. And Emily had no choice. The fourth seal waited. In the heart of Iceland, beneath an extinct volcano, lay the ruins of a temple once guarded by a secret order, the Flame Bearers. Emily followed the trail through ash-covered mountains. Deep underground, she found a flame chamber, its walls covered with warnings. The fourth seal burns not only flesh, but memory. She stepped inside. Instantly, her mind filled with visions, painful memories of her past. Her lost brother, her mother's cries, her own screams in the night. The fourth seal wasn't guarded by a monster. It was a monster. It lived inside her, feeding off her fear, regret, and guilt. Emily had to face herself. She cried. She screamed. She fell to her knees. But then she remembered Lila, the village, the people depending on her. And with trembling hands, she placed a final crystal into the altar. The chamber erupted in flames, but they didn't burn. They purified. The fourth seal shattered. Back in her hotel room, Emily stared at the wall. Her reflection in the mirror smiled back, even though she wasn't smiling. Suddenly, the mirror cracked. From the shadows, Noctarion's voice came, deep, echoing, ancient. You can break all the seals, child of light, but in the end you will break two. You can break all the seals, child of light, but in the end you will break two. Emily didn't flinch. She looked into the darkness and whispered, I'm not afraid of you. But her hands were shaking, because in her heart she knew the fifth seal was hidden in a place no human had ever returned from, and the final battle was drawing near. Emily sat frozen in front of the cracked mirror. Noctarion's voice still echoed in her mind. You will break two. Her heart was racing, but her resolve was stronger than ever. She had come too far to back down. She gathered her notes, her recorder, and the ancient relics she collected from each seal. There were only 3 seals left, and time was running out. That night, she received another message, this time not in a dream, not in a mirror, but in real life. An envelope slid under her hotel door. No name, no return address. Inside it was a black feather and a parchment that read, The fifth seal sleeps beneath the sands of the dead, whispering desert. Emily arrived in Morocco, where the locals refused to speak of the desert. An old blind woman warned her. No footprints return from that place, child. The sand listens, and it never forgets. With a compass that spun wildly and a guide who left halfway, Emily entered the dead, whispering desert alone. Days passed. Her food ran low. The heat was unbearable. But at night, the whispers returned, louder, clearer. They spoke in her own voice. Memories, regrets, lies she'd told, truths she'd buried. Then at the heart of the desert, she found it. A black stone tower half buried in sand, guarded by statues with bleeding eyes. Inside, the fifth seal floated in the air, a glowing crystal with shadows swirling inside it. But to break it, Emily had to speak her greatest fear aloud. She closed her eyes, placed her hand on the crystal, and whispered, "I'm afraid that after all this, I'll still be alone." The desert went silent. Then the seal shattered, and the wind screamed like 1,000 souls being set free. Emily collapsed, exhausted. But in the sand next to her, something rose from the ground, a skeleton holding a sword made of shadow. It bowed to her. She wasn't alone anymore. Emily now had only 2 seals left. But these weren't hidden in temples or ruins. They were hidden in realms beyond the physical world. With help from ancient scrolls, she found a cave in the Himalayas, known only as the door beneath the world. Inside, time bent. The walls whispered secrets. She fell into a pit of black mist and woke up in a world without color. No sky, no sun, just endless gray. In this dimension, reality shifted. Her memories became weapons. Her fears became beasts. To reach the 6th seal, she had to cross a bridge made of her own forgotten nightmares. At the center stood a throne, and on it sat a mirror version of herself, dressed in black, eyes glowing red. "You think you're strong?" her shadow asked. "You've only survived, not healed." A battle began, not of fists, but of wills. In the end, Emily chose to forgive herself for all her past pain. That forgiveness shattered the 6th seal. And then everything went dark. Emily awoke in her old childhood bedroom. But something was off. There were no sounds, no heartbeat, no breath. She looked outside. The world was frozen in darkness. Suddenly, the floor cracked open. From it rose a throne made of bone and smoke. On it sat Noctarion, fully formed, crowned in black flame, eyes like endless voids. "You broke the chains, but also the gate," he said. "Now the final seal is you." Emily gasped. She was the 7th seal. All along, her journey wasn't just about stopping Noctarion. It was about protecting the seal within her soul. Now she faced the final choice. Small Orange Diamond, surrender and let the world fall into eternal night. Small Orange Diamond, or sacrifice herself to seal Noctarion forever. The screen fades to black. Emily stood still, staring into the eyes of the Shadow King Noctarion, who now sat upon his throne of bone and smoke, in a world drenched in eternal night. His voice echoed like thunder. "You are the last seal. Your light, your soul, is all that stands between me and complete dominion." Emily felt weak, lost, broken. All this time, every step she took, every seal she broke, was leading to this, not just to trap Noctarion, but to offer herself as a final lock. Her hands trembled. Suddenly, behind her, familiar faces appeared, ghosts of those she had helped. Lila, the little girl from the dark village, the flame-bearer monks, the lost souls from the underwater city, even her brother, whom she thought she had lost forever. They stood together, glowing with faint light. "You are not alone, Emily," Lila said softly. "Your sacrifice won't end in darkness, but will ignite the last light." Emily stepped forward. Noctarion rose too, towering like a storm. His voice now thundered. "I will return. You cannot erase darkness. It always waits." She smiled. "Yes, but so does light." Emily took a deep breath, then reached inside her jacket and pulled out the relics of all 6 broken seals. She placed them in a circle around herself. The earth trembled. The sky above cracked. She raised her hands. A brilliant light burst from her chest, her soul shining like the morning sun. Noctarion screamed. His form cracked. Shadows peeled away. His throne shattered into ash. The world shook as Emily's light pushed the darkness back, further, further, until the realm of eternal night crumbled into stardust. Emily's body lay still in the center of the ancient circle. The seals had vanished. The curse was broken. But her story wasn't over. In the sky above, The sun returned for the first time in 1,000 years over the dark village. The birds sang again. The trees bloomed. In the village square, a small statue was built, not of a queen, not of a warrior, but a girl with a journal in one hand and light in her heart. Her name, Emily Gray, the one who became the light when no one else could. And far, far away, deep in the night sky, a star flickered brighter than the rest. Emily's soul, watching, guarding, because somewhere, somehow, the shadows always wait. But so does the light. The air was thick with tension as Noctarion, the Shadow King, towered before Emily, his dark presence swallowing everything in sight. His laughter echoed through the realm, a deep, guttural sound that shook Emily to her core. You were always destined to be mine, Emily. You are the seventh seal, the final piece of the puzzle. The moment you shatter, the world will fall into my hands. Emily felt her knees buckle, the weight of his words pressing down on her. Her hands trembled, but she refused to give in. She had come too far to turn back. The seventh seal wasn't just a mystical relic. It was her soul, her essence. She was the only thing holding back the complete resurrection of Noctarion. Emily stood at the edge of a vast abyss, Noctarion's dark energy swirling around her. His eyes, black as voids, pierced through her. All your pain, all your suffering, it was always for me. You will serve me, willingly or not. Her memories flooded back. The village, Lila, the ghosts, the pain. But one thing stood out, her purpose. She had always been the key, the one who could either destroy the shadows or release them forever. The choice was now hers. Emily closed her eyes. Deep inside, she felt the spark of light, the same light that had guided her this far. Suddenly, the air changed. It was as if the world itself was holding its breath. I will not be your pawn. Emily's voice rang out, strong and clear. I choose the light, Noctarion. You cannot control me. Noctarion's form wavered, flickering with frustration. His voice turned to a snarl. You cannot escape your fate, girl. The darkness is already won. As Emily made her stand, the ground beneath her cracked, and the world began to twist. Noctarion's power surged, dark tendrils of shadow reaching for her. She clenched her fists, focusing all the energy she had gathered through her journey. The courage from the village, the wisdom from the relics, the love from the souls she had saved. In that moment, Emily's body was bathed in radiant white light, glowing like a star. Her soul had become the very beacon that could either banish Noctarion forever or succumb to his darkness. Noctarion screeched in fury as Emily extended her hands toward him, summoning all the seals she had broken. Each one shimmered in the air, suspended by her will. This ends now, Noctarion, she whispered. The seals, now glowing with intense light, converged around Emily. The final battle had begun. The energy between Emily and Noctarion surged. A fierce battle of light against shadow, good against evil. Noctarion's form shifted, becoming a monstrous beast of pure darkness, with tendrils reaching out to consume everything. Emily's body flickered, growing weaker with each wave of shadow that struck her. Her light was waning, but she wasn't giving up. She knew the cost of breaking the seventh seal. It meant giving herself up. She had always been the key, the one who could either bring an end to the darkness or fall into it herself. With a final cry, Emily embraced the darkness, not to become it, but to sacrifice herself to seal it away forever. The seals around her exploded in blinding light, engulfing everything. Noctarion's screams were drowned out by the pure force of the light that now surrounded the world. The Shadow King writhed, and for the first time, his power began to shatter. Emily's body collapsed, her soul now one with the light. And in that final moment, the seventh seal was complete. When Emily's light faded, the world was still, but it was different. The sky above the dark village was no longer black. The first rays of dawn pierced the horizon, bathing the village in warmth and color for the first time in centuries. The trees blossomed, and the air felt alive. Emily was gone, but her sacrifice had changed everything. Noctarion's dark reign was over. The curse was lifted. The world, once cloaked in shadows, was reborn. In the heart of the village, a new statue stood in her honor. It wasn't of a warrior, but of a girl with light in her eyes, holding a book, the record of her journey. The villagers, freed from the curse, gathered around. Lila, now a young woman, placed flowers at the statue's feet, and in the distance, a small star twinkled brightly in the sky. "She's not gone," Lila whispered. "She's still with us. Her light will never fade." The camera zoomed in on the star, and for a brief moment, a figure appeared, glowing with radiant light. It was Emily. She had become the light of hope, eternal, watching over the world she saved. Emily stood at the edge of the abyss, staring into the endless darkness that surrounded her. The weight of Noctarion's words pressed on her chest like an unbreakable chain. "You are the seventh seal, Emily. You have no choice. The darkness has already consumed you. It is a part of you." Her hands trembled, her heart raced. Her own soul, her very existence, was a final key to Noctarion's full resurrection. The other 6 seals had been broken, but this final one, it was a part of her. She was the last lock. Behind her, the faint whispers of those she had helped echoed in the air. The lost souls, Lila, the villagers, even the ancient monks. They believed in her. But now, Emily had to choose whether to fulfill her destiny of darkness, or become the one to end it all. Noctarion's form grew larger, the shadows swirling around him like a storm. His dark tendrils reached out, grasping for Emily, trying to pull her into the void. "Come to me, Emily. Embrace the shadows. You will be more powerful than you ever imagined." Emily closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of his words. She could feel the darkness inside her, pulling at her, tempting her with the power to end all pain, all suffering. But then, a sudden flash of light surged within her. It was a light she had carried through her journey, the memories of those she had helped, the people she had saved, and the love that had guided her. It was stronger than the darkness. "I will not become your puppet, Noctarion." With those words, she clenched her fists, and the light within her flared. The darkness recoiled, hissing like a dying animal. Noctarion's form wavered, his hold on her weakening. But the final test was not yet over. Emily realized that to truly defeat Noctarion, she had to make the ultimate sacrifice. The 7th seal was not just a lock. It was her soul. The seal could only be broken if she surrendered everything, her memories, her heart, her very being. The choice was clear. She could fight and possibly destroy Noctarion, but there was a risk. The darkness inside her could take over. Or she could sacrifice herself, sealing away Noctarion and ensuring that the darkness would never again threaten the world. The light inside her flared once again, and she felt her knees, her breath shaky but her resolve firm. "I choose the light. I choose the world." As she spoke, she felt the 7th seal within her shift. Her body glowed with radiant energy as the seals she had broken. The ancient relics, the wisdom of the monks, the spirits of the lost souls, all converged around her. Noctarion screamed, trying to stop her, but it was too late. With a final, desperate cry, Emily released her soul, unleashing the full power of the 7th seal. The energy exploded outward, creating a massive shockwave that shattered the dark realm. For a moment, everything was still. The world had fallen silent. Noctarion's form had disintegrated into ash, his power vanishing into the void. The darkness that had swallowed the world for centuries was now gone. Emily's body lay still in the center of the crumbled realm, her form glowing faintly with the light of 1,000 stars. She had given everything to save the world, but her sacrifice had worked. The first rays of sunlight pierced the dark sky above, and the world slowly began to heal. The dark village, once cloaked in shadows, was now bathed in warmth. The trees that had withered began to bloom. The air, thick with fear and sorrow, was now fresh and full of hope. The villagers, once trapped in an eternal night, emerged from their homes, blinking in the bright sunlight. They had been freed. Emily's sacrifice had restored the balance between light and darkness. In the heart of the village, a memorial was built, not of a king, not a hero, but of a girl who chose the light, a girl who gave up everything to save them. Lila, now a young woman, stood before the statue of Emily, her eyes full of gratitude and tears. "She gave us a new chance, a new life," Lila whispered. "Her light will never fade. As the sun rose higher in the sky, a single star flickered in the distance, a reminder that Emily's light, though no longer visible, was still watching over them. Emily stood motionless, her heart pounding in her chest as Noctarion's dark energy circled around her. His presence was suffocating, like a black storm that threatened to swallow everything. "You always knew, didn't you?" Noctarion's voice was low, dangerous. "You've been chasing shadows all this time, Emily. But you, my dear, are the final piece. The seventh seal, the one thing that stands between me and my kingdom of darkness." Emily's mind reeled. The truth was clear now. The seventh seal wasn't just some powerful artifact hidden away in ancient temples. It wasn't something she could destroy, nor was it some far-off relic. It was her. She was a key to Noctarion's power, or his downfall. Her breath caught in her throat. She had spent so much time searching for answers, so many sleepless nights filled with questions, and now she realized she was both the curse and the salvation of the world. "No," she whispered, shaking her head. "I will not let you win, Noctarion. You cannot control me." Noctarion laughed darkly, his shadowy figure twisting and warping into monstrous shapes around her. "You think you can resist me? You have no choice. I am your destiny. You are my path to power. Accept your fate, or perish with the world you wish to save." Emily stood firm, her heart racing as she felt the darkness inside her stir. It was like a poison coursing through her veins, urging her surrender, to give in to the power Noctarion promised. But she could feel something else too, something stronger, the light that had always guided her, the courage that had pushed her forward when everything seemed hopeless, was still inside her. It was the same light she had seen in the eyes of the villagers, in Lila's smile, in the hope of the lost souls she had freed. Emily closed her eyes, trying to focus. She had to fight. She had to make the right choice, even if it meant sacrificing everything. Noctarion's power was overwhelming, but it didn't have to be the end. "I am not your weapon," Emily said, louder this time. "I choose to fight." The seals she had unlocked over the course of her journey, the flame bearers, the monks, the forgotten city, their strength flowed through her now, merging with the light inside her. She was no longer just a girl who had stumbled into this dark world. She was something more, a force of light and hope. But she knew the truth. To destroy Noctarion and save the world, she would have to sacrifice what she held most dear. Emily's body pulsed with energy, her form surrounded by a glowing aura that radiated out in every direction. The light became blinding, a beacon of hope against the suffocating shadows. Noctarion's laughter faltered as he saw the power she had awakened in herself. He reached out with his shadowy hands, trying to grasp her, but the light pushed him back. "You are nothing compared to me, Emily. I will tear you apart and claim your soul." But Emily was resolute. She would not let the darkness win. Her hands shook as she raised them high, feeling the power of the seventh seal pulse in her chest. The darkness inside her screamed, trying to break free, but she held on to the light with every ounce of her strength. "I won't become like you," she said, her voice steady. "I choose the light. I choose life." And with that, Emily felt herself starting to disintegrate, her physical form slipping away as she became one with the energy that surged through the seals she had unlocked. As Emily's body faded into the brilliant light, Noctarion's form began to disintegrate as well. The Shadow King roared in fury, but his strength was fading, unraveling with every pulse of Emily's light. The final moments were chaotic. The world itself seemed to tremble as Emily's essence reached out, enveloping everything in its glow. The seventh seal was now complete. Her sacrifice had broken Noctarion's hold on the world. The darkness that had spread across the land for centuries began to fade, and with it, the night lifted. The sky, once covered in endless black, began to show signs of dawn. The village, the place that had suffered under the eternal night, now basked in the first light of day. The trees, the flowers, and the earth began to come back to life. The world was healing. In the center of the village, a statue was built, not of a king, but of a girl with a glowing heart, her eyes full of hope, holding the light that saved them all. Emily had become the symbol of hope and sacrifice, her legacy carried forward by every life she had touched. Lila, now older, stood before the statue with a small group of villagers. She placed a single flower at its base, a tribute to the girl who had given everything for them. She saved us. She saved the world. Lila whispered, tears in her eyes. Above, in the sky, the same star that had flickered in the distance now burned brighter than ever. It was a sign that Emily's light would never fade. She had given her life, but in doing so, she had become eternal.